Good morning. It is Monday, September 29th, 2025. Back here for another daily shake-up. Time to shake up our thinking about life, leadership, relationships. And today it's about shaking up our thinking about legacy and impact. See, last Friday I was on a podcast episode with Dr. David Gruder, and we were talking about legacy and impact. And I said something that I've never said before. In fact, I don't know that I'd really thought it before. And since then, and over the weekend, I expanded it and shared it with some people, and it really resonated, folks. People were saying they really needed to hear it, and could I share it with them? So I'm sharing it with you, and I'll also share it with others. When we think about legacy and impact, too often we think of as big things. We think of famous people who had this massive impact, this incredible legacy. But there's a couple realities of legacy that I want you to think about. In reverse order, one of them is that legacy is not decided by us. Legacy is not decided by us. It's determined by how people see us and experience us at whatever the end is. I'm not saying end of life. It could be just an interaction that people remember the rest of their lives. Or maybe they just remember it for 5 minutes, but it was meaningful to them. You see, legacy is not this thing we figure out. Legacy is not this thing that we look at the end of our lives and say, did I matter? Did I have an impact? I know that you're having an impact, perhaps not as intentional as you'd like. And that may be the key shift here, to be more intentional with the impact you want to create. But here's the phrase that, or the few phrases I want you to hear that relate to legacy and impact. Legacy and impact are about moments. They're about moments as reflective with these people behind me, not monuments. Impact and legacy is about moments, not monuments. Now, the second one I want you to think about after sitting and pondering that one for a moment. The next one is this, that legacy and impact is about seeds, the seeds we plant, not forest or crops. It's about the seeds we plant, not the end product or the end forest or the end harvest. In fact, most of us, as I said earlier, may never see the harvest. We may never know. In fact, it's unlikely we will know what the ultimate forest looks like that our seeds created. In fact, we're not supposed to know. Because if you're focused on knowing what that outcome, that impact, that legacy is going to be, that's about you. That is not about being of service. And impact and legacy is about being of service. And finally, I want to remind you that impact and legacy is about ripples, the ripples we create with every little thing we do, every tiny stone we throw, not the waves that get created or that follow from our ripples, perhaps combined with other people's ripples, because none of us do this alone. So that's what I want to share with you today. Impact and legacy is about moments, not monuments, seeds, not forests, and ripples, not waves. Think about that. Love to hear your thoughts on my thoughts. Give us a like, a share, comment. Let's spread the message. We are all creating impact and legacy. And perhaps we don't see it and not intended to see it, but just know that you're making a difference every day with your moments, your seeds, and your ripples.